Morning, first home buyers. This is the time, now or never. Welcome to Morning Minutes with myself, Michael Berger, and Mark Novak, and we're going to be addressing probably one of the mostly sought after sectors of buyers to encourage them to buy for probably at least the last 12 months, especially the beginning of the year where we had a great first home buyer grant to get across the line. With the combination of the first home buyers grant, the cheapest interest rates ever, prices even coming back 10% in the last couple of months. What more incentives do first home buyers need to buy? The government wants them to buy, the banks want them to buy, their parents want them to buy. Why don't you, Mark?
So we've designed this segment to take that you can share with a first home buyer, and we're going to step you through from A to Z as a first home buyer, what you need to do, think, expertise, stuff like that. Because you know what? There's actually, apart from the mum and dad that's probably belting on their kids for buying something, or the kids aspiring to buy something, there's actually not a lot of information, help, or there's not even a place to go where you can say, okay, this is going to take me from the whole process through. So we thought in 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is today.
20 minutes. We love to talk.
20 minutes.
This is a great topic, however long we need.
Under promise and over deliver.
Tune in. Yeah, I know.
All right. So Michael, you're a first home buyer. You go, right, I'm going to do this. What's out there and available for you at the moment? Before we start stepping through the process, what's out there and available for you by way of banks, governments, incentives, cash, deposits? What's out there? What are the tools?
So I can speak very relevant, as I can proudly pat on the back of just bought my first home and settled. So very happy to have done that. And there are three options out there for first home buyer within grants. You have the latest one that came in January 1st, which is number one, which was basically the government backed no mortgage insurance, which meant for a first home buyer, you only needed a 5% deposit to secure a property, i.e. if it was for $500,000, you only needed $25,000 and you would get the loan. The government will back it. There was only open to $10,000. Now the difference is normally if you only had a 5% deposit, you're whacked with mortgage insurance, which could be another 10, 20 grand. But the bank said, we're happy to take the government as your guarantor. The government said, we're happy to guarantor you. No silly charges, extra charges, risk charges. For the first home buyer, let's make it easy for them. Get into your first property. Number one. Then there's number two.
So can I massage slowly over that one? There was
Certainly.
a secret cost for first home buyers called mortgage insurance that no one really knew about. That if you did not have a full 20% deposit and you only had a 10% deposit, the bank would whack you for a cost of about 10 or 15 grand, secret cost.
Wow.
The government has deleted that out only for 10,000 first home buyers. There are still some of those available.
There's still, I think, a good few thousand available, guys. So don't think there's not left. Don't think you've lost your time or you've wasted it. Fortin Media, good to have you on, Chad. There is still plenty of space on there. I can share a post that was done by Christian Stevens, which really went into detail about that. So still not too late, guys. Number two.
So what's that called?
Sorry.
That's called a
deposit scheme, first home buyer deposit scheme, something along those lines.
Okay. Next one.
The next one is no stamp duty for property purchases from, I don't know if there's a zero entry, like from 500,000 up to $800,000. There is incentives and reduced stamp duty. You get your best value at 650,000 where no stamp duty is paid, and the higher the purchase price above that, the more stamp duty you pay. So from example, from 650 it goes from 0 to 800. You get only like $2,000 off, but it's scalable. So there's a lot of first home buyers out there that are like, I've got to look at 650 and under, or I pay all stamp duty. That is not the case. So you can look at properties for 660, 680 and still get up to 700 and get a great discount on stamp duty by the government.
Okay, so the Mark Novak dumbed down version on that one is basically, if you're a first home buyer, try if you can to sit under the 650K so you can pay 0 stamp duty.
Yep. I mean, I mentioned Blake on the third one just then. What is it? I've just gone blank. Deposit scheme. Mark, can you please elaborate on the third one? I've done the first two.
Yeah, I know where you got the third one from because we've done a talk about it. So that's why you're pulling it in. It's your superannuation.
Sorry. Yes. So the third one is your superannuation. You can inject as an individual, I think it's 10 up to 30,000 as a couple in a year into your super, and then pull it out for a deposit. So let's say you may not have all the deposit necessary for it, but you've done a lot of work and you got maybe 40 grand in your super. You can use your super to buy your first property, which is huge because normally your superannuation has been for savings till you retire, but now you can use it to buy a property. I just want to give a quick shout out, Andrew Cole on this morning, Bill, Luke, great to have you all on and love your views on this and what you're seeing with first home buyers, maybe a bit of the hesitation, what you're doing to help them get across the line. And that's what this segment is about, to help first home buyers take that plunge.
Yeah, if you've got any nephews, nieces, friends or family, you can tag in here or you can share this story too. It's a cracker because sometimes there's just no one to take their hand and step them through easily. Sometimes you just want to sit there and just watch something for 10 minutes rather than Google something for 2 hours and find different pieces and try to join them together. This is the piece where we're joining them all together. Now, the dumbed down version on that super, the Mark Novak dumbed down version on the super, is that unfortunately, a lot of these kids have got lazy super sitting there doing nothing. It may be 5,000. It may be 15,000. So if you're like a 22-year-old and you've been working for 4 years, you've been earning 50, 60, 70K a year, 9% of that 70K, which is 8 grand, 7 grand, whatever it is, 7 grand a year for 4 years, 28K is sitting in your super.
Yeah.
Now you're thinking to yourself, what the hell is that good for? It is useless. I can't touch it till I'm 75. Wrong. You can apply and you can touch it and apply it to your first home.
Phenomenal.
No, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
Let me bring it up.
Okay. Can I do it? Can I say that again? Can I do, okay.
Yes, take two.
Take two. The markdown dumb version of using your superannuation as a first home buyer only. Now, your voluntary 9.25%, whatever it is, superannuation that gets contributed to your super must stay there. You can't touch it. But normally, if your wage gets taxed at 30, 40 cents in a dollar, what you can do is take that untaxed wage, put it into your super and use that for your deposit. You can do 15 grand a year. So it's great because we're coming upon the end of financial year.
Yes,
you can
I've got it on the screen now for everyone as well.
Okay, so you can whack in 15K of money untaxed. So you don't have to pay tax on that money because you've whacked it into your super. And you can whack another 15K in the new financial year.
I'll stop you there, Mark. How do you do that?
Yeah.
How does someone put it in their super? Do they ask their employer? Do they have to transfer it?
Yeah,
How can that
great
happen?
question.
Just
great
to
question.
You there.
Yeah, it's you've got to tell your employer that it's a voluntary contribution into your super. You know what? This has to be masterminded by your accountant. You got to go to your accountant and say, buddy, friend, chum, I've got some money coming from my employer, or I'm going to dedicate my employer to put a certain amount of to not pay me so it goes into my savings, but to pay it into my super. So
now,
you may
is
say
there any
an extra.
disadvantage for the employer? Just can they
Not
say
at all.
no? Is it you're not putting them out of the way? It's because
No,
I can imagine first homer going to their boss or could be a bit timid or scared. We don't all have friendly bosses like yourself where we can have that conversation. So it doesn't disadvantage.
So what I would do is I would simply take this what's on the screen here. I would take that to my accountant and say, I want to do that because I don't want to pay tax on this money. And then what your solicitor will do is say you're a genius. Sorry, what your accountant will do is say you're a genius. I will give you a letter to give to your employer. Done.
Okay.
They give that letter to the employer and say, and that is the instructions to say how to do it, when to do it, why to do it. And the employer will read that, the accounts person will read that and do that. But the point is, there's 3 methods there, guys, that are unadvertised, or no one actually joins them or stitches them together, puts them in basic words and explains it to a first home buyer. I've got to tell you, I reckon 99% of Australians don't know what we just said, those last 3 steps.
I 100% agree with that because so many
One of them,
buddies of
2 of them,
mine,
3 of them. Yeah.
So many buddies of mine we're talking and I'm like, you do know you can do this. I'm like, huh? No. And you're just stepping through it. So this video is for them to be like, you can send them the link and go, watch this. You're going to get a good understanding of it. Obviously, this is not financial advice, speaking, blah, 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 blah.
No.
But this is our assumptions and what's out there.
So what we're going to do is we're going to whack each grant in the links. 1, 2, 3. Each of those 3 steps that we just went through, we're whacking those in the links, so you can read up on them a little bit more. You can share it with your accountant. What's next?
Yep, Ashley, good to have you on. Roshan, good to have you on, sir. Okay, so let's. Yes.
Michael.
So what do you want to look at?
So
I spoke to him yesterday, and I apologise, and I was very embarrassed. So
Michael's been welcoming on a new guest every morning, and didn't realise he worked in our office. Yeah,
it's war out there. We head down, bum up, just think, do deals, try and help people, and
deals. Hey, can you bring up my baby? You got FHSS says, where's my baby? Okay, now while you got the screen there, Michael, can we do? There's the baby there in Facebook.
There's the baby. Okay.
First time buyer baby. Now that we've done those 3 magical steps that people don't know about, that you can put it all together in one piece. Tell me, I'm a first home buyer. I have mum and dad have been up me, or I've been up mum and dad saying, I want to buy something, whatever. What's the next steps in 30 seconds? What do you do?
Get in contact with an agent.
Yep.
Get in contact with an agent and then start looking, and then a broker to see what you can buy and what level you want to buy. And then I would look at the costs, what a loan and how much it would cost me. And I would then be, have you got a property there that you can suggest to a first time buyer, just because that's what we do, and then? I'll bring it up now. Let's run this off because it's always good for a first home buyer to mirror off a property and just run a case study, like run it and see what it'll look like. So we're going to take 6/13 Westminster DY, for example. Let's say it's a $530,000 property. I would look at what that's going to cost me, what the income would be if I don't live in it, and run it that way. So then I would go to a mortgage calculator. So we look at the property, there it is. I'm going to switch screens now to a mortgage calculator.
And then?
Switch screen, there we go. And then. Okay, that should be coming up on everyone's screen now. So I've already preloaded it. 530,000, 10% deposit, what's that, 53. So it's roughly 480,000. Dollar loan over 30 years, interest rate some at 2%, 2% somewhere. I'm doing 2.5 principal and interest. Yeah. Or should I bump that up? Or are we all good with that figure?
Hey, how funny is it people having to smoke on the street now because they can't smoke inside their unit block?
Yes.
Out of control.
So do you want to do it on 2.5%?
Yep.
or 3. Yep,
2.5.
2.5 extra repayments of
because you know what?
$100.
Because banks love the whole reason there's all of these incentives for first home buyers. The whole reason there's all of these incentives is because they are trying to teach Australians to own their own property. They're trying to teach Australians to have good habits young. So banks are on board. Governments are on board. Family is on board. Because if you can get these guys to get into a property early, they're not going to go out and do silly things with their money. So it's very, yeah.
So put it this way as well. You buy a property now, in 30 years, it's paid off and you own it outright. Even if it's worth the same, but it won't. The last 10 years, it's say doubled. That's your nest egg. You have your super building, but you buy a property for $500,000. You're 55 years old and it's paid off. So there's another extra super retirement. Like that's why they're encouraging you to buy, because they don't want you to rely on your super. Now, super was great when they've really initiated it. So let's look at the numbers.
It's going to help you get married as well.
Yes. That's the only reason I bought a property. Ladies out there. Okay. So 1996. Now let's look at it per week.
So taking this from the top. Sorry, I got a bit lost. We've got a property for 520, which we're going to show you some lovely photos of in a second.
Oh, do you bring back all the calculator?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, let's bring the property up. Let's bring that property up. So this is the property we've got. It is an awesome 1-bedroom unit in Westminster Avenue in DY, sunny northern beaches of Sydney, 37 minutes to the city on a bus, right, 5 minutes to the beach, 5 minutes to the shop. Look at the photos.
Yeah, it's sinking across now. Should be up any second.
Looky. Okay, look at that.
Looky, boom.
Wow. Wow. Look at that lounge. Look at the balcony. Look at the block. A tidy, beautiful block. Basic
People
kitchen.
love the 1960s, 70s, hey, Mark.
Basic
the old good red brick properties.
They don't fall down. They don't fall down and get water damage. They're easy maintenance. Leafy outlook. There's leaves there. Big lounge room. There's more leaves bedroom. There's more leaves off the bedroom. Kitchen, gas cooktop. Okay, how much is that?
Okay, change the screen across. Stop share. Gotta love Zoom. Boom. We go to this calculator. Let's say you do.
How much is it to buy?
19. It's
520.
Yep. So 10%.
A first-home buyer does not need any money for stamp duty because the government's giving them free stamp duty. Bingo. The first-home buyer only needs a 5% deposit on 500K. That's 25K, 26K. Bingo. So you're going to borrow 490. Bingo.
Yep.
Okay, so what's the repayments on 490? So you only need a $29,000 deposit. You can buy a $500,000 property. You can have a super low interest rates. I've never seen interest rates these low in my life. So super low interest rates are going to be sitting at 2.5%. And what are your payments, Professor?
$455 per week. So $1,957 a month divided by 4.3, because not all months are the same. And that's what it is, $450.
Now, I'm a first-home buyer. And I can't afford $455 because I'm only making
$700 a week.
Well, you need a fairly good wage to buy that anyway. So I think a wage, if you're going to need minimum, is going to be to buy that. From the last transaction I did with the first home buyer, I think about 70K. I think about 70K. Okay, so you need to be earning about 70K. Yes. Now, if you're earning 70K, you're taking home $1,100 a week, $1,200 a week. If I'm doing the maths right, $455 you're going to put to pay to live there.
Here's a good one, Mark, just so people can see how much they can lend. Most banks work off ×5, ×6, ×7 of your wage is what they'll lend you. Rule of thumb. So times your wage by 70 times 7 is 490. You should be able to get a loan for 470 times 6. Different banks are different, but that's a really good, easy hack. Times 6 your wage, and that's generally the loan amount. So obviously, if it's lower, then you may need a bigger deposit. If it works, that's great. That's a little hack for you guys. Times 6, and if you've got a If you got a couple, it's combined times 6. Great little tip there.
I like it. Times 6. That's a sick one. Okay. So have we helped people?
Sorry, what was that?
Have we helped people?
I hope so. Like, what else? Like, white mark, what stops people buying? What is it?
Balls.
Balls.
Put the baby. Can I have the baby on again? I love the baby.
Yep. You love the baby. Love the baby up.
Balls. People don't buy. Lack of knowledge. Hard to find the information. There's baby there with
Yes.
Look at that.
Hi, Lisa
What a
Kramer.
cutie.
Thanks for having me on. Thank you.
First-time buyers, guys. That's what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
So why isn't a first-time buyer buying? They don't have a deposit.
Yep.
And the answer in this one is 5% on a house, on
Yeah.
a property like that, 29,000 entry level. 2, they don't have an income.
Yes.
Solution on that is times 6 your income. That's how much you should be able to borrow. So 70K times 6, 420K.
Yep.
Ish.
Oh, Mark, I'd like to say, and that property I think is rented for $500 a week or a little bit over. So
Yeah.
it is cheaper to buy than rent, and you own an asset.
That's a good point. It's cheaper to buy than rent. But if you're living at home and it's rented, let it be rented, right?
Yeah,
so,
very true.
you know, first-time buyers have to live in it the first 3 to 6 months and then throw a tenant back in there, go back home, live at home.
And after this coronavirus, if it isn't more, important to have a second source of income to your wage, which could be very vulnerable, there's no better wake-up call to now going, hey, if I could be making $100 a week from a property or $50 a week, or at least own what the roof over my head, so I'm not begging a landlord for assistance. If there's not more of an urgency or
what a great topic
to get into
what
that's
a great topic. I love this topic.
Yeah, and I already think off the top of my head about 10 buddies I'm going to send this to as well. Now, the biggest tip from someone who's just done this, big tips, from just done this, don't overthink it. Don't scrutinize the price.
Yes.
You will head confuse yourself by over analyzing over everything, and the result is you end up don't buying, and you're looking for 6 months, you're looking for 12 months, and the prices go so ups and downs, left, right, center. You get nowhere. You go full circle.
You know what? You just got to turn up, guys. You just got to turn up. That's all you have to do is front up, and the rest will just flow. You know, you front up to the broker, to the agent, to the property. You just front up, you know, because I know when I was 17, I used to go and look at really nice cars, and I just fronted up, and it was overkill. Like, I was looking at the most ridiculous cars, and I ended up buying them 5, 20, 15 years later, whatever. But my point is, I just fronted up, you know. So you've just got to, as a first-time buyer, even if you've got pimples in your face, you're 17, you don't even have a job. Like, when you start thinking like that, you start fronting up to open houses, you start fronting up to mortgage brokers. Next thing you know, it just starts happening.
As Lisa Kramer says, just do it. But Mark, let's go. All right, let's even go a little bit more deeper into it. What do they need to buy a property? We've talked about the finances, but you need a lawyer or a conveyancer. Let's think of the team the first home buyer needs to build to do this, because I don't believe they can really do it on their own. They need a bit of, they're gonna be asking, instead of asking for a random person's advice or a buddy's advice who's never bought a property at a barbecue or an outing, let's give those first home buyers a bit of a snapshot of how their support system, a real support system, should look like. You need your broker.
The support ecosystem, the support ecosystem for a first home buyer.
Great words. Okay. Conveyancer, solicitor.
No, balls is where it starts.
Balls, yes. Balls. Big one.
Balls.
You need conveyancer, solicitor, broker.
good conveyance, a good solicitor, mum and dad, friends or family can give you those. Agent,
Yep.
whatever. Yeah.
I reckon even an agent, I'm sure if you look at your Facebook friends, there's an agent there that you can bounce a bit of ideas from just to
Yes.
get a gauge
Yes.
of, is
Yes.
this good value? Let's do
Put
it.
the question on Facebook.
Yep, put
Hey,
it on Facebook.
does anyone know a good broker? Boom. Your friends will tell you.
A real estate agent, boom. Okay. Then what are the steps?
Save a deposit.
Save a deposit. No, past that. You got your money, you're sort of ready, but you want to exchange.
Use your super. Okay, your ecosystem. So you got your lawyer, you got your broker, you got your friends and family around you. You find a property, make an offer, just boom.
But
boom,
I will
boom.
say friends and family who have bought property, not friends and family who are not in it, sort of thing. So be very careful. Obviously, listen to everybody, but be conscious of who you're listening to as well.
Yeah, because they know it all.
Yeah. Now, let's say you front up. You've done it. You fronted up. You're at an open home. You like the property. Now what? Make an offer.
Now,
what do you do?
Yeah, you have to. You have to. So it's you front up. You talk to the agent, you make an offer, it just happens. It just happens.
You tell the agent you're a first home buyer. Are you scared to tell him because you're going to think you get screwed or like they dislike?
Nah. But you know what, Michael? It's not that hard. Like it's literally like buying milk or bread. You know good value. You know what you like, and you just follow that. You just do that.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So you don't need to. You don't need to overthink things. I think if you've got a good cross section of 5 or 15 or 25 properties, you're going to have a pretty good nose to what's good value.
See 10 properties as quick as you can, the same Saturday, book out a whole Saturday. Go see 10 properties in a very similar area. Don't go see 5 properties, one in Dee White, one in Blacktown, one in Parramatta. No. Go see 10 properties in the same suburbs, same surrounding suburbs. Therefore, you're getting.
Oh, I got a good one. Don't stay close to friends and family when you're buying. Don't be a fruitcake and buy like in Queensland or Melbourne.
If you haven't got the right knowledge, I know Luke loves up there, but especially for your first home buyer, your nose.
Why did you do that? Oh, because it was cheap, and it's like,
yeah, for the wrong reasons. They sometimes look up there.
No good. Stay local, guys.
So stay local, get a good barometer. What's happening? Then, how do they exchange offer? Then, especially now in the market where a lot of people are doing cooling off periods are sort of happening a lot, aren't they now, Mark? Having a lot of cooling off. You got the time.
I reckon that's it. I reckon we've helped them heaps. Got the first time buy. That's it. Finished. That's not complicated. You know, that's it. That's front up, guys. That's all you do. You know, and if you've got any questions, call us. We'll step you through it. You know, like I think we're given plenty of good information. It's just otherwise this and that. Oh, what do they say that? What do they do this? No, just front up. Go look at properties. Don't be afraid to dream.
Hi, Heather. Thanks for your comments, but Heather's wrote, I just think Just Do It approach is a little rash for potentially the biggest financial decision of their life. Research and good understanding of the market and what you needing for a property is important. Indecision and spending too long analysing without action is potentially foolish. Just do it and buy without much thought is pure foolish and negligent. That's not what we're suggesting. We're trying to simplify it for people, but everything we've just said, contacting a lawyer, contacting your broker, seeing multiple properties, creating a support mechanism is all about doing your due diligence and being thorough. So we're not suggesting that at all, but we are trying to simplify it and encourage people to do it as well.
What's the lady's name that made a comment?
Heather Sunshine. Thank you for watching and your comments. Thank you.
Thanks, Heather. Look, Heather, I've got to let you know, Heather, there's a lot more conservative people in this world than proactive people, right? That's the people that I'm talking about. So, the people that are bullish, that are silly, they're going to do it anyway. I'm talking about the people that are shy, scared, vulnerable, don't want to do it.
I know where to start.
That's the incentive and powering up that I'm talking about with people. And you know what? I've done it myself. So at the end
Yep.
of the day, and it's done just fine by me. And that's what I'm saying. And if you don't like my advice, you know, that who it's applying to is seeing the negative part of it, well, that's your prerogative. But at the end of the day, you know, what I see in the marketplace, the advice that I give in the marketplace, I've never seen one person in my real estate career that's had a go at me for this advice that I'm giving.
Yes,
You know what
and
they,
I've
you know what
taken.
they do? They turn around, they pat me on the back, and they go, "You are a legend." I walk through a shopping mall and I say g'day to people that I've sold to, and they don't say you were bullish and you were silly by telling us just to buy. They go, "Thank you." So
Yep.
that's
Thank
all I'm
you.
saying today. So, you know, to those people, now if I had people chasing
And
me down
Heather
the
has
street
said
saying
thanks
you're
for the clarification. So perfect. Love the comments, interaction. We're happy to always. It's an open forum here. We encourage it.
and it's not. I don't get people chasing me down the street saying you're a muppet. You made my son and daughter buy a property. I'm going to kill you. It's the
Yeah.
complete opposite. So at
Yes.
the end of the day, we are the enablers. You turn
Yes.
up and we'll make it happen. You don't want it to happen, it doesn't have to happen. But there's a lot of people out there that are shy, scared. It's their first time.
And they've got no information. Or you look
yeah.
at how they write it on all the government websites. It's a 15-page essay. How do you understand that? People want this information in simple terms they can relate to. I've just bought my first home, and I'm just simplifying it from our point of view as well.
Yeah.
Anything else?
See that behind me? See that baby behind me?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, that was me.
Right? Call it positive reinforcement, call it encouragement, call it what you want, but it's still we're not sharks with a baby doing like we're there nursing people through, giving but being saying, come on guys, you can do it.
Edward on Insta. Making it happen. Keep it simple. Thanks, Edward. Edward's from the UK. It's good to have you on. I'm still in lockdown, he says, so it's great.
We've had a lot of people from the UK. We've had a lot of people from California. Our two biggest followers. Sorry, Michael.
No, I think that's great. I love having that. I know Lisa Novak's doing a lot of talks, or he's about to a big conference with a lot of people from UK regarding social what's it called? Social media. So that's been really, really good. Any questions out there, guys? Anything else you want to add on this, Mark? Love ya. See ya. Thank you very much, guys, and we'll be back tomorrow morning as always. Thanks for joining.
And thanks for everyone's comments. Yes. We really appreciate the interaction, because what came out of Heather's mouth is exactly what some people are thinking as well. So it's great to go through it all.
Beautiful. Thank you, everyone. Cheers.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.